So we broke this key support and now we broke this support as well. Altcoins have just touched a very important support level right here. Stablecoin dominance is following the path we have been talking about in the past couple of videos. Whether you are a Bitcoin investor or whether you are a Bitcoin trader, in today's video I'm going to give you a very clear picture on what I think is going on with the markets right now. So guys, let's just jump straight into it and let's just not waste any more minutes with this intro and let's just go into it, guys. So when we have a look at Bitcoin, we can see that we had this uptrend going like pretty decent, and guys, we have to take a little bit credits for this because during this time we have been talking the whole time that Bitcoin is going to go in a massive bounce because a lot of data was pointing right here that we are going to go up. We had the 60-day cycle low forming right there, as everything was pointing bullish. But you gotta know that most people online, they were actually bearish. They were expecting Bitcoin to go even lower. Then we remained bullish during this whole move, guys, and this is the first moment here, or like around this period, that I actually started to make a video where I'm saying that it might be a little bit more bearish. I got a lot of negative comments on that video saying that we're not bearish and stuff like, and this is also what I'm saying in the other videos. Like, it's not that I want to be bearish, I just want to be realistic. That's the whole point of these videos, because if I would just make videos just to be bullish, even though I don't feel it, because I don't necessarily see it in the shorter term time frame, then what's the point of making these videos? But yeah, what I've said in my previous videos, guys, mainly was that the stablecoin dominance is breaking out right here from this falling wedge formation to the upside, and we are going to go through some scenarios right now which will help us determine to see what's going on with Bitcoin. Because even though we broke down during we broke this uptrend and now we broke this support as well, it doesn't necessarily need to mean that Bitcoin is looking very bearish. No, not at all. Bitcoin is actually looking very bullish in the bigger perspective, and that's also where we are going to focus on. So first of all, let's just look at the simple structure of Bitcoin. The only thing that's a little bit tricky right here is that, yes, we did break above the previous all-time high, as you can see right here, and now we are kind of like breaking back below it. So what we want to see is, we do not want to see a very big continuation of move. We don't want to see a lot of selling pressure right here. That's something that I've said before as well, because we don't want to see too much buying pressure here in the stablecoin dominance. But we are going to look at that in a sec, guys. So what are some things to watch right here? Well, some levels to watch is this whole, basically, guys, it's kind of this whole zone. And if we look at this zone and we just make it a little bit like this, then this would be, if you ask me, would still be the safe zone for Bitcoin to trade in without looking too bearish. So we can go into this zone, maybe do a little bit sideways consolidation, maybe have a small wick, you know, where people panic a little bit, but then go quickly back into this zone, and then most likely want to get back above this zone again. Why do I say this zone? Well, we have seen a 60-day cycle low right here. We are right now on day 53 of this 60-day cycle. So that's why it makes so much sense that we are seeing a little bit selling pressure, because we are in the last stage of that 60-day cycle low. Can take maybe 1 week until that's formed. Sometimes it forms earlier, sometimes a little bit later, but this is just a rough structure or cyclical pattern that we can use to estimate. So it's not an exact science, it's an estimate basically. So what we want to see is like Bitcoin in the 60-day cycle low, maybe form a low, and then from that low we want to see a continuation of this uptrend. And I believe that is very much the likely scenario. Why? Because this 60-day cycle has been setting the tone for the coming 60-day cycle, because this 60-day cycle started so strong. And look at this price action. We go pump, a consolidation, pump, consolidation, pump, consolidation, pump. There hasn't been any corrections during this whole rally, guys. So it makes more than sense to get a correction right here. And the correction that we are seeing so far is actually not that bad. Bitcoin is showing quite some strength in this correction, because look at the rally we've done and look at the correction we've done. It's really, really low. Then when we go to the altcoin market cap, guys, it's interesting because altcoins also have been breaking this uptrending support, but right now they are at a very important support level as well from this declining channel. This can be a very big support level where we eventually can come back to test the resistance of this bigger megaphone pattern and eventually get that breakout. We do not, and this is again, we do not want to see this really breaking down. We do not want to see that, because that will increase the likelihood of going to these lows and even going below these lows. So we do not want to see that, but so far, guys, we are pretty consolidating at this resistance level. If we have a look at previous times, the amount of time that we are spending at this resistance level is not much. Now we are already spending a little bit more time there. The previous rejection, came down to the support. Right now we had another rejection. It did came down to the support. Can we come back up is the big question. And I think it is definitely possible in the bigger scheme of things. So Bitcoin going into the 60-day cycle low, maybe first stealing the show in the next 60-day cycle, have an early rally there in June, and then eventually altcoins follow as well. A lot of altcoins are looking very good in the Bitcoin comparative. So against Bitcoin chart, it is interesting to see that as well. Then we go to maybe one of the most important charts, that is the stablecoin dominance. Some chart that basically I use mainly to predict this correction in the Bitcoin price, because what I've been saying is that we have a falling wedge formation. We did already break out to the upside. Most of the time we do not directly get this move, or like a move that we're seeing right now. We first have a little bit, some candles coming in there as well. The only thing that we want to see in this chart, guys, is that this chart is not going too high. And I gotta be honest, we already see slightly that it's not going too high, because the momentum indicator is already here, is already at the resistance, while if you look at the price, we didn't even surpass this high. So we have a high here, and the momentum indicator is already higher, or maybe around that level, while the price is not. That is a good sign. Why? Because that means that the momentum indicator moves higher than the price, which basically shows weakness in the price. And weakness in this chart equals strength in Bitcoin. So you see how this all is fitting together, because Bitcoin not dumping directly extremely right now is showing quite some strength, because don't forget, we had a rally from the lows till the highs of almost 50%. A 50% rally makes sense to get a correction, especially when we are late in a 60-day cycle. So yeah, we don't want to see this chart going too high on the 4-hour time frame. We are already at the resistance. The only thing that is a little bit less nice is that on the daily time frame we have been really going to oversold conditions. On the daily time frame, I gotta be honest, this chart looks a little bit more bullish, as you can see. But yeah, we have to see how this unfolds. That's very important, because if this one goes like that and then we can surpass below these lows again, then this would be very bullish. This would be very good for Bitcoin, and I think it's definitely possible. So we shouldn't be too scared with this bullish looking chart right here. Especially not when we look at the 4-hour time frame. So in the shorter term time frame, we already see that the momentum indicator moves faster than the price, therefore creating more space to come down again. So I'm still sticking to the fact that the main scenario for me, guys, is that we are going to stay in this green zone right here, starting from, what is it, 104k all the way up to 106k, but with a possibility to get a wick below that, of course. That is definitely a possibility, because we often see these wicks, these big capitulation events, but Bitcoin should be bought up rather quickly. And then we want to see a continuational move to the upside in the next new 60-day cycle low with a lot of strength. So maybe a lot of strength like we've seen in this 60-day cycle low, this 60-day cycle. A lot of strength, especially early in the cycle, guys. A lot of price going up, right? A lot of positivity. So yeah, guys, that's what I'm looking at right now. So these are levels that I'm looking with Bitcoin. I think right now time is more important than price for me. I'm going to wait till the 60-day cycle low and see where the price is then. And then once we have a clear low, I'm going to see, of course, update you guys about that. And I think we can just continue this uptrend unless if we do something ugly, like we really go below this zone and test this zone as resistance. That is, then it might tell us that this correction is going to go a little bit further, at least in the shorter term time frame. Then we can see a deeper correction. It will take more time for Bitcoin to recover. All in all, not the best situation, but still doesn't necessarily needs to mean that we are topping out right here, that we are entering a bear market. This is something we have to take level by level, but so far there is nothing yet too much to panic about, but it was pretty clearly that in the shorter term time frame we are going to get a correction, and I've made a video about that in the previous days as well. Guys, another thing that I want to share with you is that Bybit right now has a MiCA license in Austria, which means that all services, or most services, they are opened again in Europe. And if you do not have a Bybit account, guys, you have to make sure you have to create a Bybit account, because Bybit is the best and biggest exchange out there, and also the most trustworthy exchange, if you ask me. The highest liquidity, and I wish that Bybit has in Holland the leverage trading open again. They do not have, because some countries like the Netherlands, they have like local regulations in the country that you, for example, leverage trading in the Netherlands is very difficult. They need all these different licenses for that, which they do not have. Maybe they have it in the future. I really hope so, because I would love to trade with leverage on Bybit, but I basically cannot in my country. But guys, if you are from Europe and you do not have a Bybit account, make sure to create a Bybit account. I have a link down below in the description. I think you'll get a $20 free for signing up. You can get a deposit bonus up to $30,000, and what else? I think that's it. But Bybit is just a very the best exchange. So it's pretty big news for the adoption of crypto in Europe, because it just opens a lot of doors for Bybit, and therefore a lot of doors for crypto as well. Okay guys, that was it for today's video. Smash up the like button if you like it. Subscribe if you are new. Wish all of you a beautiful day today, and I hope to see every single one of you in the next video. Bye bye.